Hey, what's good, everybody? What is up with the views? Usually have at least 30 or 40 people in here by now. The hell? Did y'all get any notification? Because I posted up here hours ago. Hey, Dave and JBA. Thank you, Malika. I'll be wanting to talk about geek stuff, but that would almost require an entirely different channel. But ain't nobody gonna support that channel. I like geek stuff. I like a movie review channel, geek movies, all kind of movies. And like almost deconstruct them, not from a is this movie good sort of viewpoint, but like a we woke and we watching these movies. Sort of like how I did with Planet of the Apes. Y'all remember the video I did with Planet of the Apes? What's up, Grinch? And you know your presence is always greatly appreciated. Appreciated, wanted, and loved. For those of you who remember my breakdown of, I'll probably make that as a post and a poll. For those of you who remember my breakdown of Rise of the Planet of the Apes, I wonder if my audience would like me to do that with various movies. Just my take. It don't have to be about the tied into the Black community necessarily, but just my take. Because I be wanting to talk about these movies sometimes. Maybe I'll do it on my DJ Fish Grease channel. But anyway, I got another clip to play that I'm going to let you guys hear. And this is a clip of, I guess, what's a recent Iyanla Vanzant show. And I kind of low-key like Iyanla. I don't agree with everything she be doing, but sometimes she be on point. And I just want you guys to hear this woman explain. What's going on, Charles? How you doing, love? Hear this woman explain how violent she is. This is an older Black woman, probably maybe a year or two younger than me, maybe my age, maybe a little older. I'm not sure. I didn't watch the show. I just saw the clip. And I just want y'all to hear this. It's not nothing super profound or anything we don't know, but I just want you to hear something.
You better last night.
Sorry.
And she gave me this tea, and now I can literally hear.
That's the ad playing on the video. Because I'm ghetto and this is how we listening to it. So just do not judge me. I swear to God. Anyway.
I get the whole don't fight in front of your kids thing. I pushed her. I slunk her this way. I slunk her this way. And I put her in a headlock because if I'd have hit her, I would have hurt my sister. Do you understand what I'm saying? So my kids did see me throw her from this room to this room to this room. And finally, I'm tired. I'm too old to be slinging you across the head over there. And I'm giving out a breath. And she said to me in a headlock, our relationship will never be the same. I said, you're absolutely right.
Let me just say this to you, Ms. Nicole. I don't do violence. I don't do violence among women. I don't do violence.
Because I stood up, that was violence?
You're unsafe. You are not a safe person.
I'm aggressive, period, and I know
but it's not working. It's not
and
working.
I know that.
And if you're not willing to change, I can't help you. I can't keep engaging in this. They're going to let me help you learn how to listen. You're going to change your point of view, or I'm going to call your car. I can't do it. You are responsible for your triggers. You have to unplug them. Miss Nicole, I don't know you from a can of paint, and this one I'm going to tell her. You may love your children with every fiber of your being, but there's no way with that level of violence in your body that you're a good mom. There's no way. Don't mean you don't feed them and clothe them and take care of them. But there's a distinction between providing for the child and raising a child.
Okay. That's all. That was it. Nothing too profound, right? Nothing too profound. Hello. She may be an old ratchet. I can give you that one. But there once in but even a broken clock is right twice a day. Because she was explaining how she was fighting her sister. But the key thing that I took from that was Iyanla telling her she's not a good mother. Just because you are providing for children doesn't mean that you are raising them. And that's sort of our topic for today. One of the main reasons why Black mothers fail their children is because they find a way to provide for them, but they won't raise them. Hey, Artisan. And it sort of ties back into the live stream that Angry Man did, I think it was yesterday or what have you, when he was talking about women being children. Okay. And on that point, and I don't know if he's listening, but I'm going to respectfully disagree on a small point that he made. He was pointing out that the fact that women need protection and taken care of inherently makes us children. I disagree. It doesn't inherently, that's not what makes women be children. And that's not what makes men view certain women as children or view them like children or view them as childlike. What makes men view women as childlike is when women fail to have emotional maturity and growth. When a woman lacks emotional maturity, this is when she becomes childlike. This is when it comes to a point where there's very little distinction between her and a child. But so on that point, I respectfully disagree with Valdez. And I'm going to go into why I would disagree. Do children need taken care of? Yes. Do women need taken care of? Yes. But there's a difference as to why. And it all goes back to the nature of women. And the nature of men and women is where gender roles spring from. And I'm going to take us back. And I'm not going to make this a religious sermon, but so my worldview. You can take it as a metaphor. I don't know if you believe in it. I'm not trying to make nobody believe nothing. So you can use this metaphorically if you want. But if we want to hearken back to the story of Adam and Eve, there was one human individual, which was Adam. Okay. And our Creator decided to make Adam a mate. As the story is narrated both in Christianity and in Islam, Eve was created from the rib of Adam. What is a rib? What is a rib and what is the function of a rib? A rib is one of the protective bones that make up your rib cage. And a rib inherently is a curved bone. It is not a straight bone like the majority of your bones in your body. The majority of bones in your body, no matter if they are small or large, are more or less straight bones. But the rib is a curve. It curves from the breastplate around your important organs and connects in the spinal column. And the rib's job is to protect. That is the rib's job, to protect. What do ribs protect? Ribs protect the soft parts of the human being, our vital organs, our heart, our lungs, okay? Just to name two, all right? So your rib cage is there to basically absorb any injury that you may sustain in your torso. And ribs are extremely strong bones. It takes a lot to break or fracture a rib. It is not an easily broken bone. It is very tough to break a rib. Ribs can sustain multiple impacts before it begins to fracture and break. Unlike your tibia or your femur, this is a very strong bone, okay? It has width and it has thickness. It's a dense bone and it is curved. Now, the rib is curved unlike the other straight bones. It also would not be able to do its job if it were straight. Rib is not a rib if it is straight. It's broken if it's straight. If a rib is straight, it is broken. And it cannot perform its job. So women cannot be straightened, i.e. turned into men, because we will cease to function and operate as women, and we will lose our purpose, the very purpose of our being. Furthermore, not only created from the rib, but the Creator also chose to take from the man's emotional store and create an entirely new individual with it. So probably my guess is about 70% of a man's emotional responses was taken from him. That's just a guess on the numbers. The numbers are not written anywhere. It's just me imagining. And a whole individual was taken and created like this. Nearly a completely emotional creature. borrowed probably about 30% of the man's logic and reasoning and placed it in this individual, because without any logic and reason, this individual could not even really survive. No one could be around it. So it must have an anchor. So for those of you who want to think of it another way, think of it as a man's anima being extracted from him and a physical representation of his anima being placed in front of him. If those who are familiar with the animus and the anima. So basically, a man's anima, his fully developed anima, was taken, and then an entire being, like the representation of that, was placed, a physical representation of his anima. And with that came a little bit of the man himself, the logic, the reasoning, which becomes the woman's animus, given to her so that she can function, okay? Because a purely emotional creature with no logic or reason power cannot be contended with, okay? So a woman is created. Now, the woman has a specific job that she must do. And if she is to perform this job admirably and properly, she cannot be saddled with procuring her own livelihood and welfare. She can't do this. Because the job for which she is created is so time and energy consuming that she cannot or should not be able to expend her energy doing her job and procuring her own welfare. That is what the man is for. He procures the welfare because he has been given the tools to do this. Since so much of his emotional output has been taken from him, he is mostly a creature of logic and reason, which gives him an edge for procuring resources. Everybody following me so far? A man is designed to do what he does, okay? And women are designed to do what we do. And our main design, one of our main designs and functions, is to bring life into this world. Something that men are unable to do. Okay? Now, what does that entail? First of all, we spend the better part of a year gestating a human being in our bodies. It is a unique experience that only a female mother can have. Other females who have not birthed children cannot have this experience. They miss it, and men will never have it because he is physically unable to have it. So mothers have a unique experience that only mothers have because they are mothers. Okay? The level of vulnerability that a woman is in while she is gestating is enormous. The first few weeks, she can spend that time sick as her body literally rearranges itself to sustain the life of a human being. Her hormone levels shift. And as the baby grows, her organs shift in her body because the womb becomes the biggest thing in her abdomen. So what do we think happens to her diaphragm, her stomach, her lungs, her heart, and her abdominal wall? All shifted. Glad you mentioned donate. I'm really bad at this. So her entire body is rearranging itself during the entire 9-month span to accommodate a human being, which is absorbing every part of her, physically, emotionally, whatever her emotional output is, the baby will react to it. If she is upset, the baby will not sleep. And mothers know when their unborn children are asleep or awake. During this time, she is extremely vulnerable. There is no way that she is able to procure her own resources now. Since our gestational period as humans is about 9 months, that's the better part of a year. And if she has multiple children and they sort of stair step, these are years of her life where she is literally not in a physical position to take care of herself as far as gaining and procuring any resources. Okay? Now, if we were not created the way that we were with our emotional output, we would not be able to raise children, because if you think about it, traditionally, men don't do any child rearing. Men provide for children, they don't raise them. Women raise them. And children who have grown up only with their fathers and never having a mother, even from little arm baby, they grow up to be interesting individuals. Okay, because a man is going to impart man stuff on his child. He simply does not have the emotional output necessary to give to a child that is very small. He also rarely has the patience to deal with such a child, okay? Because small children do not have reasoning. They lack logic, and they also lack emotional control, okay? Women, since we are such emotional creatures, relate to this mind state of children because we are highly emotional and we're motivated by our emotions much of the time. So women understand children on a level that men do not. And mothers, good mothers, are better equipped to handle their smaller children more than the children's father. Because men don't want to deal with the terrible twos and the tantrums. They don't really get it. They don't really get how to handle a human being that lacks reason and logic. Okay? Don't want to handle that. They will if they have to, but they don't really want to. It's interesting for men to do that. This is why Well, thank you, Grinch. This is why women are better equipped to raise smaller children, and as children get older, the influence of their fathers become more important, because now the father is better equipped to deal with his child as the child matures emotionally and they gain some measure of control and mastery over their logic and reason. Okay. So a father is better equipped to deal with his 12-year-old son than he is to deal with his 2-year-old son. Okay. Loves his son at any age, but lacks, above all, the patience. That's why a father will play with his kids, and then after a while, he tells the mother, come get them. Come get them. Come get them. Put them to bed. Because now he's tired. And he's tired not only necessarily physically, he's mentally drained from dealing with the child. And the child can't help it. The child's being a child. Okay? And the father knows that, which is why he doesn't take it out on the child. But it does tell the mother to come get them from him. Okay? So traditionally, men don't do any child rearing, or very little. They will provide like hell for the kids, but they don't raise them. That has been the woman's job traditionally, to raise them, not necessarily to provide for them, but to raise them. And the raising and rearing of children is so, especially when it's done properly, is so emotionally and mentally taxing that we do not have any more to give to the procuring of our own livelihood. Okay? Because we not only must emotionally spend on the child, we have to emotionally support you as our husbands. So we've been dealing with the children all day. They've literally driven us batshit crazy all day, right? But somehow mama find the patience to rock you to sleep. Hey, you want something? And they throwing a tantrum. Come on. Come on. See, this is why you'll hear a mother repeat herself ad nauseum to a child. A father might say it twice and then he's ready to kick ass. You're going to do what I say and I'm not going to keep saying it. But a mother, come on. Come on. I told you to stop. Come on. No. No. Didn't I say? No. No, you can't do that. No. And the father's like, why are you arguing with this kid? Put your foot down, say no. If he asks again, give him a spanking and send him to bed, because the answer is no. And the mother's like, just let me handle it. I got him. I got him. And the father just be shaking his head, I don't understand that. And you don't. But we understand it, right? Because we are emotional creatures. So we understand the emotional working that men simply don't. And that's not a slight, it just is what it is. And that's not to say men don't have emotions or they don't have emotional output. They just don't have as much as women do. And so since we have it, we have to spend it on the kids. And we understand the gears in a child's mind. Okay. This is all coming from an idealistic view, right? In a perfect world, right? We understand the inner workings how emotional filters go, because we have everything comes through our emotional filter first, okay? And that is a similarity that we have with children, because children, everything goes through their emotional filters first, boys and girls, especially when they're small. Children only focus on how things make them feel, okay, because they're learning at that point, okay? Because we are women, we don't actually stop doing that. Everything comes through our emotional filter first. The only thing that should be happening is after you reach a certain point, your logic and reason kicks in and provides the counterbalance for your emotional output. And also, you should be emotionally maturing so that you understand better your emotional responses and how not to have some of them or how to manage them, right? So that is all that women need to really do, because we can't stop being emotional creatures. We can't stop that. No matter how men dislike it, don't want us to do that, don't want us to respond emotionally, don't want us to come to them with any real, like, sort of emotional, we can't stop doing that. I'm sorry, guys. You may not like it, but it's not going to stop, because we can't help it. We literally can't help that. There's no part of us that can help that. So why am I saying all of that? And what does this have to do with the failure of mothers, or the clip that I played for that matter? I'll tie it together, because women today do not know, nor do they acknowledge the information that I just gave you all. They have very little understanding of any of that. They do not understand their nature. They do not understand their place in this world. And this is one of the ways that Black mothers fail their children, because, like the clip you heard, Iyanla pointed out, you may love your children and you may feed them and clothe them and house them, but you're not a good mother. Because mothering doesn't have anything to do with providing. Not monetary provisions, anyway. Mothering has nothing to do with that. And most women nowadays do not know that difference. They honestly and truly believe that monetary provisions is raising children, which is why you'll hear a lot of them say, I did the best I could. She means she did what she had to do, quote unquote, to put food on the table. You actually hear them say it. I put food on the table. I put clothes on your back. I put food in, I have a roof over your head. I took care of you. No, actually you didn't. You didn't. And Black women, among all other women, have forgotten that nurturing is a woman's wheelhouse. It is her nature, and she can't help it. Okay? But they've forgotten how to nurture children. Also, and it may seem like I'm switching gears here, white supremacy, aka feminism, broke that paradigm and separated provision from raising. By taking men out of the home, you place the mother in the position of attempting to provide. But as I stated before, the rearing and raising of children is so emotionally and mentally taxing that a mother is ill-equipped to procure her own well-being and resources. I said that. Thank you, Grinch. You're such a sweetheart. You're such a sweetheart. So it should stand to reason that if you make a mother single, where there is no man to fulfill the job of procuring the resources because she is simply not in a position to do this, then that forces her to do it. But if she is forced to do that, who raises the kid? You are an asshole, but you're a sweetheart. But okay, I won't call you a sweetheart. You got a reputation to uphold. You're a dirty fucking bastard, Grinch. A dirty, dirty fucking bastard. There you have it. Forgot you had a reputation to uphold. Can't be ruining that. Okay, you satisfied. Okay. That's good. So this system forced mothers to start providing. Women are such that we cannot do both. We must put all of our energies in one or the other. Okay? Because if we put half the energy and split it, nothing gets done. If you put half the energy in getting the provision, you won't get any. And if you put half the energy in raising the children, you raise them badly. So you must put your whole 100% of energy into either space, either or. And if you make me a single mother, I have to choose the provision because I really don't want to be homeless and hungry with my children. Okay. Now, the government knew this. So what they did was they said, you know what? We will subsidize that for you. We will make it easier to survive as a single mom with the programs that we are quite familiar with, Section 8 and food stamps and the like. Okay, WIC programs and all kinds of programs. We'll pay for babysitting service and child care services and all of that we will do. Okay? To make it easier for you. This is so hard. We'll make it easier for you to do, right? Hey, Mark. So now, since they decided to subsidize this behavior, that freed women up because, like I said, women are such that we can only place our energies in one way or another. We can't split them. Not in this case. We can't do that. But if you subsidize me, that makes me comfortable. And if I'm comfortable, I'll birth another child, because women don't birth when there is no provision. We will not do it. So with all of these incentives being cut, the birth rate will plummet, because we will stop having children. Okay. Now, I'm gonna tie this stuff up. Just bear with me, right? Because I'm getting to why the Black mothers fail their children. Is because they have adopted this paradigm, right? That I must provide or raise children. And if I'm alone, I must provide. And I can't give my energy to raising my children. This is known. This is a known result. And it was done only to Black women. What was done only to Black women? Because I know people say, well, there are white women on welfare and blah, 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 and single moms. Okay, I got you. But when they started these programs 60 years ago, 50 and 60 years ago, the white man was not made to leave his home. In point of fact, he could petition for these benefits as the head of household and receive food stamps, Section 8, etc., for his family. He was not required by law, neither written or implied, that he should not be with his family. Okay. The Black man, on the other hand, his home under the very same conditions. Exactly, Sir. Oh yeah, your rich worked. Yay. He said a side nigga said, fuck what your main nigga said. He don't know what the fuck he talking about. With all that pro-Black shit, you can worry about that shit later. My shea butter flavored niggas. Exactly. Okay. So the handouts were given, but the caveat for the Black community was that we will supply this for your woman, but we won't supply it for you as a man. Now, what this did was one of the biggest puzzle pieces to completely subvert Black women by using a woman's nature against her. And because we're products of this society, we're already warped. So you didn't have to warp our femininity. It was already damaged. Okay. And so when it's already damaged, it is not difficult to subvert it further. Okay. Because when you want to completely annihilate a people, you just kill them. But when you want to subvert and control a populace or a subsection of that populace, what you do is you kill off the viable men. And then you subvert the minds of the women, because like I said before, traditionally, men do not raise children, women do. Men do not do child rearing. They're simply not built for child rearing. Women are, by our very natures. Okay. And a man, because of this, because he does no rearing, men are not responsible for the next generation of human beings. Women are. Okay. It is necessary to subvert women in a population you wish to control, because she is going to pass down what she has learned. She will pass her experiences down. Men won't do that, not in the same manner. Okay? Because women have the most access to children during their formative years. Okay? Remember that I said earlier, a woman is better equipped to deal with a smaller child, and a father is better equipped to deal with the older child after the formative years. So the mother is doing the most influence at a time where she is literally shaping the reality of another human being. That is what she is doing. And that is a powerful station. This is why I get on women like I do. Shouldn't shun your womanhood. Womanhood in its nature is powerful. It is a power. And it is a power that only women can wield. Men do not wield this particular type of power. It is subtle, but it lasts lifetimes. Why do you think the pathology in the Black community is so difficult to break? Because it is being imparted in a child's formative years, where their reality is being shaped by an individual who has these pathologies. A woman will pass down all of what she has going on in here and in here to her child, regardless of its nature. Regardless if this is positive or negative, men do not do this. So you can't just try to subvert the men to subvert a civilization. You would think you control the head, you control everybody else. Not in this particular case, not when we're talking about human nature. Okay? Because the way in which women interact with children and the way in which men interact with children is very different, and they interact more depending upon the child's age, and women have more access to a smaller child than men do. And we are inherently prone to pass down whatever we have to our children. And if we are damaged, guess where that damage goes? And this can start during gestation, not necessarily even after the child is born. This is during gestation. The child is not only getting physical, genetic material from its mother, it is getting all of our emotion out as well. Whatever the state of our psyche is absorbed by the child. And so the woman becomes the most effective tool, because you basically put her on automatic. If you give her a certain program, she will program her children with it without fail. And if the cycle is not broken, her female children would do the same over and over and over. we as girls in the Black community got indoctrinated by our mothers that you don't never depend on a man. Get your education. All else fails, you need to get these government assistances lined up and take advantage of that the best way that you can. So she'll keep perpetuating the pathology in a way that men will not. Okay? So you kill the men off because men, as our esteemed brothers, the Professor Cerulean Gray and also BGS Ibmore have stated multiple times that men oppose environments. Okay? And so since men are going to oppose, you don't want to deal with that opposition. Okay? You don't want that type of opposition, so you cut it off. Cut it off. And you allow the women to perpetuate the dysfunction unabated, uninterrupted, because you have removed the only other influence that would redirect her, which is her man. He's gone. So women become a ship without a rudder, aimless, purposeless. Okay. A ship without a rudder, and it also lacks an anchor. So it doesn't have a rudder to keep it from going in the wrong direction, and it doesn't have an anchor to stop it. Okay, which is what men are to women. Men are the rudders and the anchors to the ship. Okay, so this is how you properly. Black Zeus, thank you so much. He says, gotta go Texas tomorrow. Hope the women absorb the wisdom you're speaking. We'll listen to the playback. Thank you so much, Black Zeus. It's greatly appreciated. Yes, J. Micah, like an unguided missile. Okay. As women, we are capable of great feats if we are unsubverted and we teach our children what it is that is necessary to grow and improve and have our communities flourish. Women become invaluable at that point. And we also become the foundation of our communities. There's a reason why that saying goes, a nation can rise no higher than its woman. It's not putting women above men. It isn't saying that women are better than men and men are inherently not anything. That's not what that saying is implying. It is implying that a nation built on the foundation of broken women is like building a house on a foundation that is not structurally sound. The structure that you put on top of it will fall. And so therefore, no matter how beautiful and strong the building is that you put on top of that foundation, if the foundation is not right, it will fail. Women have a similar function in societies as the foundations, because if we are not functioning properly, then the community that we come from will not survive. Why? Because we are responsible for all of the next few generations of human beings to enter the world. Okay? So I don't want people to walk away with the wrong understanding of that saying, a nation can rise no higher than its woman. Because if she is structurally sound, then she will create structurally sound children. And in order to have structurally sound children, that is worth the price of admission. That is worth her being taken care of. If she is going to expend her energy properly to the rearing and raising of strong children, then she deserves to be taken care of, because she's doing her job properly. And it takes all of what she has in her in order to do it. Okay. So Black mothers have failed in this job tremendously, in large part due to the governmental incentives for her to do it, placing her in a position where she cannot nurture. She must become the provider. Okay? Which in turn will make her more masculine, because in order to operate a certain way in this world, masculine energy is needed. Feminine energy won't cut it. Okay? So she's failed her children by taking up with what is tantamount to white supremacy, which is feminism. Feminism is just white supremacy with a female smile. That's all feminism is. Another iteration of white supremacy. Okay? And so by laying in bed with this enemy, Black women have failed their children because they have vacated their spot as the nurturer and the teacher in order to become the provider. So the children never learn what they need to know. Many times they're raising themselves practically, or they're being indoctrinated by their mother. She doesn't think she's indoctrinating. She thinks these are her original thoughts. That is how subversion works. True subversion, you adopt mindsets and ideologies that are not your own, that you think are your own. That is the true essence of subversion. And that is how Black women, Black mothers fail their children. Like I said, she vacated her spot. She does not understand the purpose of her womanhood. She is afraid of it. like it's gonna kill her, because she's been told that it will kill her. That's why so much pushback. She literally thinks she's not gonna survive, she's gonna die if she embraces her femininity. This is why you guys can't get her to do it. You can't get her to do it. Hey, Brandon. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get off of here. This was short because it's late. And I'm getting a little sleepy, and I'm ready to take these clothes off now. But I'm gonna try to do my live streams earlier, because people were getting used to me doing them at 3 p.m. Central Time, but I can't always do that. Some things have happened in my schedule and can't really be here. So it's probably going to start being 10 or 11 o'clock when I am at the house. But then we run into the Angry Couch sessions, and those are always like lit. I don't like missing those. So I have to find a good time where you guys will be ready to listen, because these double-digit numbers, I'm not used to them anymore. I'm used to 100 people at least or so coming to my live streams, and they aren't. So I don't know if it's a notification thing or if people are just simply not interested in my live streams, which would be a little bit disappointing, but whatever. So I'm gonna go ahead and end this off. Thank everyone for coming here. Oh my God. Thank you so much, the Grand Doty. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I feel as if I'm stealing, sponging up all of your esoteric insights without recompensing you. Thank you so much. I'm humbled by that. Thank you. Yeah, Wolf and Beta Close, I think it's the time. But when I was doing them earlier, I noticed that it's double digits also. So I don't know, maybe I'm not as interesting as I thought on a live stream. But, and I say that a little tongue in cheek. But I've gotten back to my pre-recorded videos because I think my audience likes those more than they like my live streams, because my live streams are just this. There's no big production in them. I don't have, the bells and the whistles. But I'm going to get off of it anyway with my sleepy self. And I will talk to you guys later. Thanks for tuning in.